There is a massive lie that we tell parents in the modern day. It's that gaming is a waste of time. We're told that once you have a career, the mortgage, and the kids, you're supposed to put away the toys and embrace the grind. That your only job from here on out is to be the provider, a stoic, tireless rock that never needs an escape. I'm here today to conduct a strategic audit on that lie. I manage risk for a living. As a professional in FinTech, my entire world is built on high-level strategic audits and planning. I spend my days analyzing market volatility and calculating the ROI of every second spent. In my professional life, chaos is something that you mitigate with a better spreadsheet, process, or a more aggressive strategy. But I'm going to tell you something that most professionals would never admit to. The highest yield investment that I've made in the last 5 years, the one that quite literally saved my sanity, was a $500 piece of handheld gaming hardware. Think about your own season of suck. The moment where the cognitive bandwidth was at zero, where the stress of the job, the pressure of debt, or the sheer bone-deep exhaustion of parenting is so loud that you can't hear yourself think. For a parent who enjoys the hobby, gaming isn't just an escape from your life. In the right circumstances, it's the only thing that actually helps to keep you in it. When your world is falling apart, gaming isn't a hobby. It's a medical-grade mental maintenance. It's the reset button for your brain that's running too hot to function. For me, that season of suck happened in a pediatric ward where the room was about the size of the one that you'd expect to get in a college dorm. Right after my son's first birthday, he was diagnosed with leukemia. For the better part of a year, my office was a cramped plastic chair next to a heart rate monitor. When you manage teams for a living and are a father, the protocol kicks in automatically during a crisis. You try to manage the tragedy like it's a project. You stay stoic, you handle the logistics, and you act as the rock for everyone else. But here's the analytical truth. A rock is just a substance that hasn't met enough pressure to crack yet. I was mentally bankrupt, I was running a massive cognitive deficit, and I knew that if I didn't find a way to recharge my own system, I was going to fail the people who needed me most. I realized I didn't need to relax. I needed to audit my sanity, and the most important tool in the audit wasn't a meditation app or a vacation. In that scenario, for me, it was my handheld gaming console, my Steam Deck. When you're under extreme stress, everyone gives you the same advice. Just take it easy. Just watch a movie. Try to zone out. I tried it. I'd sit in that dim hospital room while my son finally slept. I'd put on a blockbuster movie, and my eyes were on the screen. I was watching the explosions and the dialogue, but my brain was still running background processes that I just couldn't kill. It was this endless background loop of, what if the next test results are worse? How am I going to explain this to the extended family? And I haven't checked my work email in 4 days. You see, passive media, movies, TVs, scrolling social media or shorts, it doesn't take up enough RAM in your head. It leaves 80% of your cognitive bandwidth open to feed your anxiety. You aren't relaxing. You're just giving your fear a high-definition backdrop to play against. And it was going through those trials and tribulations where I realized I didn't need to zone out. What I really needed to do was to zone in. As a gamer, I've always known about the flow state, that moment when the world disappears because the task at hand is so demanding that your brain has to shut down everything else to survive. In a crisis, flow state isn't a luxury, it's a neurological necessity. I needed an activity that was so taxing, so intense, and so engaging that it would force my brain to kill the background process of fear, even if just for 15 minutes. I needed active escapism. This is where the tech comes in, because when you're living out of a suitcase in whatever high stress or remote situation that you might be in, your 4K TV is thousands of miles away. You're limited by the physical constraints of the room and your situation, and the social constraints of not being that guy who's ignoring his family, or his job, or his finances, so on and so forth. I audited every device that I had at this point. The laptop was a failure. It was too loud, both socially and physically. Opening a laptop in a hospital room makes it feel like you're trying to work. It creates a barrier between you, your wife, and your family. It says, I'm busy. Nintendo Switch for me was a gamer dad rejects because in this specific scenario, most games are too passive. I could play Mario and still worry about the labs. It didn't demand enough of me. Then there was my Steam Deck, or my Steam Deck OLED. In my previous videos, I've called this thing a life raft, and I want to double down on that. When you're in a crisis, you need low-friction liquidity. You need to be able to enter and exit your escape instantly, which is why I still hold the position that the suspend and resume feature paired with the portability on the Steam Deck is the most important parenting tech developed in the last decade, period. I could be in a high-intensity mission. A doctor would walk in and click. I'm a present, focused father. The doctor leaves, kid falls back asleep, the stress returns, and click, I'm back in a different world 5 seconds later. No loading screens, no where was I, no startup costs. It respected the return on time that I desperately needed, and it allowed me to seal pockets of sanity within the frustrating margins of incredible stress and tragedy. Now let's talk about the library lineup. People have asked me in DMs or in comments, as well as people in my personal life who knew me going through this, why I was playing stressful games like Armored Core 6 or Elden Ring while my son was in treatment. Don't you want something cozy, they'd ask. Play some Stardew Valley, they'd say. No, I didn't want cozy. Cozy is dangerous when you're in a crisis or a high-stress situation because cozy gives you time to think. I wanted, or needed at the time, now looking back on it, games that felt like a knife fight. When I was in Elden Ring or Armored Core 6, trying to take down a boss that was faster than my own reflexes, my brain was at 100% utilization. I was calculating dodge timings, monitoring energy levels, and tracking missile locks. In those moments, the stressful situation that you're in my case the hospital room, didn't exist. The fear for my son's future was temporarily evicted from my skull because there simply wasn't enough memory to hold it. It was essentially neurological anesthesia. It's the same reason why we dads love to tinker, why we fix the AC when it breaks or obsess over the lawn. We're looking for a task that demands our full presence so that we can get a break from the unsolvable problems of our often stressful lives. Gaming, and specifically high engagement, high intensity handheld gaming for a lot of parents, is the ultimate portable version of that. It gives you that sense of agency in a world where you feel that oftentimes you have none. In that hospital room, I couldn't control the medicine. I couldn't control the timeline, but I could control my mech or my level 350 sorcerer in Elden Ring. I could win that fight, and that small win would give me the dopamine hit that I needed to keep going for another 6 hours. There's this narrative out there that being a good dad means 24/7 self-immolation, that if you aren't suffering every second your family is suffering, you're failing. I see it in the comments all the time. How do you find the time? I feel too guilty to game. There's more productive uses of your time. I want to audit that guilt because we all know that if you run a machine at 110, 120% capacity for too long, it doesn't just slow down, it breaks. And when a dad breaks, the whole family structure feels the tremor. My wife was the one who actually pushed the deck into my hands some nights. She knew. She saw the 1,000-yard stare coming on. She knew that if I could disappear for 30 minutes, I'd come back a better version of The Rock. I'd be more patient, more attentive, and less likely to snap. My point here is we need to stop viewing and believing this story that gaming is a waste of time and start viewing it as maintenance. You wouldn't feel guilty putting oil in your car. You wouldn't feel guilty for charging your phone. Why do we feel guilty for charging our own mental batteries? And don't get me wrong, like with the examples I just stated, you could overdo it with any of this. Moderation is an essential principle when you're applying it to any of these. But escapism is a tool. It's the oxygen mask principle. You have to put yours on first, or you're no use to the people in the seats next to you. So what's the ROI of that season of suck? Because we take the good with the bad, and there's always a lesson to be learned from the bad. I learned that technology is only as good as the problem it solves, and the Steam Deck or handheld gaming didn't just solve boredom, it gave me the tools necessary in order to navigate times of incredible stress and despair. If you're watching this and you're in your own version of a hospital room right now, maybe it's a job you hate, maybe it's a health scare, maybe it's just the overwhelming weight of being a provider in 2026. I want you to hear this. It's okay to step away. It's okay to find a 15-minute window where you aren't the professional or the leader, husband, or the rock. It's okay to just be a space ninja or a mech pilot. That isn't ignoring your responsibilities. That's ensuring that you have enough strength to fulfill them tomorrow. I want to build a community here that isn't just about specs. I want to talk about how we as parents, new fathers, whatever situation you're in, navigate this world without losing ourselves. If this resonated with you, I want to hear your story in the comments. What's the game that got you through your season of suck? What's the life raft that you're holding on to right now? Let's turn the comment section of this video into an audit of survival, because we're all working for something, and usually it's not just for ourselves. I'm the Naptime Dad. My son is doing great, by the way. He's recovered, entered remission, and my wife and I are still muddling forward, and we're doing it together. Thanks for being a part of this journey. Hit subscribe if you want to stay for gear reviews, market predictions, and honest conversations about being a parent who still loves to game. And remember, nap time is game time, and the only grinding we do is for coffee beans. I'll catch you in the next one.